Well, I mean, I think that's a logical strategy. So in terms of like how to launch and where we go with it. So the idea. So let's take a step back for a second. So what is the alcohol of the month concept? Like, how did we get started talking about this?
We were played some golf and just talking about some different business ideas uh, that have been on the table for you, and different ideas that I had. And my original idea was for a bar that uh, featured different alcohols from throughout the country. And it just kind of morphed into the idea of an alcohol of the month um, concept that can feature different drinks from throughout the country that be it either locally or throughout the country that people generally can't get um, readily. If it's a favorite drink from down south or out west, that we can promote some local distilleries, wineries, craft beer manufacturers, um, and promote their businesses while people enjoy a cocktail throughout the year.
Yeah, and I like it, and I really do like the idea. The challenge with the initial idea is just the capital, right? Because I
Right.
mean, it's a lot of money to build like bars and distribution. So we're talking about, we're kind of trying to figure out, okay, what's a way that we could do this a lot more affordably in the beginning, kind of get some traction, and kind of see where it goes from there.
Right. I think the alcohol of the month kind of a club is uh, a great way to start that up and promote some local distillers, beer makers, wineries. I think that there's a vast potential out there for to promote businesses and social gatherings. I think that there's a lot of potential out there.
Yeah, and then I think we got into some too of the moonshine because I've never even tried moonshine. I've heard about it, but
Yeah,
it existed.
yeah, that I got was down in Gatlinburg about right around the 1st of April. Went into a Sugarland moonshine or Sugarland Shine distillery down there. Tried some of their moonshine and getting it. What it was phenomenal down there, but getting it up here in Michigan is very difficult. And I thought it'd be great to be able to get that more readily. And that was kind of the catalyst for this idea of getting something that I selfishly like to drink. And um, I figure that there's probably more people out there like me that have went to different areas of the country that want to a good drink or their favorite drink from someplace, and they want to drink it with their friends. Um, I think uh, so. That was just the catalyst for this idea.
Yeah, and then the other thing I like about it, because I mean, CPA background, finance, so I'm always looking at the numbers, and that's kind of the lens I look at through the entrepreneurial universe. And the thing I like about it also is that it's focused on a monthly subscription, which generates monthly recurring revenue, which all the CPAs and bean counters just applaud because you have that revenue stream. It's a good thing. So you have a constant source of cash flow too. So I think that's another thing that gives you some real possibilities of being able to raise some capital for this.
Right. Yeah. That constant cash flow um, is going to be great for our return on investments.
Yeah, so the other thing you sent me, which was interesting, you sent me like like, so we kind of like we did our thing, we said our goodbyes, and we kind of went our own separate ways. And a few days later, you went on the internet and you found a bunch of competitors. Can you talk about like how you found them and what you've learned about
I
the industry?
what the little bit of research that I did as I just went alcohol of the month or beer of the month kinds of clubs, and there was some stuff out there, and I was just doing a general uh overview, and it seemed like a lot of these places were getting maybe 2.5 to maybe 4-star reviews. on Google, which is good for some of them and probably bad for others. But I figured that there is a demand out there for a not necessarily a premium, a very good alcohol, but at a fair price, prompt, and that can be cleverly designed, presented nicely, and good tasting alcohol for whomever wants to drink it.
Yeah, so I think there's a gap as well. So I did some light, like verbal market research at another golf round, ironically enough, so you can see where I spend most of my time. But anyway, I was talking with my buddies, and they said they had a wine of the month club that was going really well for a long time, and then the founder passed away, unfortunately, and it just disappeared. But he said he loved it. He loved getting the bottle every month. There's different region, they had a write up for it and all that stuff. So it seems like it's got legs. I would venture. I've never been. I've had a couple looks at a couple of boxes of the month club. Like had some. I've had like 2 or 3 actually. None of them really made a lot of sense to me, just because the founders or whatever just didn't have what I thought it would take to make it a success, or I didn't like the product or whatever.
Right.
So there's a lot of it out there. So I'm pretty sure it's a pretty large industry. We haven't even gotten that far to look yet, but I'm assuming a lot of people still do it. I don't have a box of the month subscription at this point, but it's not. I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I've been asking a few of people that I know, and it seems like people would be in at least intrigued to venture to make that kind of an investment of purchasing a wine or alcohol of the month kind of purchase for their own personal uses.
Got it. So in terms of like, so in terms of your vision, like, how do you see this playing out? Like, what kind of alcohol is it? Like a beer, wine, like cards? Like, what is there like going to be a common theme that you feel passionate about?
I think that the way that I envision it to starting off with, and to some as we grow, some variation of this is a either predominantly a wine, or maybe like a moonshine or a whiskey or a bourbon or something along those lines, that is local to different areas of probably the state of Michigan to start off with, or state of Michigan, northern Ohio, maybe Michigan to Cleveland to Chicagoland area. That's a wine, hard cider, or moonshine, bourbon, something like that, that has one bottle, maybe some nice glassware to be attached with it, in a nice box of some sort, with a write-up about the company and these exact drink that's coming with that box, and a little bit of a history of that company and the drink, and so people know how to enjoy it, and potentially what it might go well with, be it a meal or cigars or whatever that it is.
Guys, so when you saw competition out there, that didn't really discourage you. It doesn't sound like.
No, I think that there's a market out there for something that is top of the line. I think that there is something out there that can, if it's done right and put a premium on something that has a very nice touch to it, I think that it's that there's something out there for us.
Yeah, and for my very like preliminary analysis of it, I definitely think it's worth pursuing. Let's maybe go a little deeper. So the next step we're going to do with this is basically go through the one-page executive summary process, which basically has you hit all the major bullet points on a high level. Just going to say, okay, where you want to go, what's the market going to address, how big is it? It's almost like doing some more legwork, just to kind of do the thought exercise of, all right, is there something legitimate here? So I think I'm definitely interested in us pursuing that and kind of take a look at, all right, what's the strengths, what's the weaknesses, where is it going to go from there? And if anyone watching this video, either the recorded version or the live version, has any input, suggestions, wants to be involved, wants to invest time, money, or both, or whatever, just reach out to me. Obviously, you can connect with me on social media and we can talk about it from there. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea so far. I think there's a possibility, some traction. So is there anything else you want to add to the story before we kind of send off here?
I think that there's a lot of possibilities with this to since really the pandemic of supporting local businesses. I think that we can do this on the for the state of Michigan and for other small time distilleries throughout this country. I think that this is a great platform to grow some of the businesses of America and the state of Michigan. So I think that there's a lot of great opportunities with this.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Scott, for sharing. And again,
Thank
if anyone's interested, just reach out to us and we'll go from there.
Thank you.